Hi guys, happy Tuesday. Welcome to the morning after. I am your host, Charlene Joint, and today we are recapping episode 9, or the hometown week of season 15 of The Bachelorette. And as you guys know, we start off every the morning after with a Starbucks Buzziest Moment, and this is brought to you by Starbucks Coffee at Home, which you can pick up at your local grocery store. And a Buzziest Moment, as you guys know by now, is something that stood out to me or something that I just want to discuss. And yeah, today's Buzziest Moment is certainly, I feel like, a hot topic out there right now, and it is Jed and his hometown. So before seeing this episode, I was told by a Bachelor friend who gets the episodes in advance that it's a suspect hometown because it revolves entirely around Jed's music, and it just sort of supports the theory that Jed is there more or less to further his career and only that. And it's hard for me to come at this not from the perspective of a musician. I know obviously the type of music we do is very different, but I don't think it can be overstated how big a part of Jed's live music is, or probably is, as was indicated by everyone in his family. I just don't find it that weird that his hometown date activity with them would be them writing a song together, because it's his strength. It's what he's moved away from home to pursue. It's his passion. I think it's just a huge part of his life and his identity, and therefore it doesn't stand out to me as a weird thing, especially since Hannah eats it up. She's giving him positive reinforcement at every turn. She loves the music. It's clear that it's not something she speaks, and therefore she has an appreciation for it. So yeah, I just didn't think this was a calculated thing. I think that Jed is probably as surprised as anyone by his legitimate feelings for Hannah, and I don't think his, leading with his music, or his potentially, if we're going to talk about rumors, having had a girlfriend or not, I think that they're mutually exclusive. I think that he can feel legitimate feelings for Hannah and have told a girl he loved her before going on the show, if that makes sense. Maybe I'm giving him more credit than he deserves. I just don't think that he's the devil for, going on with not the purest of intentions like almost everyone does on this show. And also, I've mentioned before that a huge percentage of the people on the show have some sort of relationship going into it, whether they break, it's all semantics, whether you break up with someone before going on the show or you don't, like you were still with someone right before going on the show. It's kind of the way it is. I don't think anyone should be, I know he's getting a lot of crap for this right now. And so I just want to put out my opinion on this. It's certainly a buzzy topic. And yeah, one more thing. His mother talks on the hometown about his career path and the sacrifices you make for music. This is another thing I related to. I think it's completely true. Just, he can have a relationship, but he also is pursuing a very demanding career. I don't really see the big deal in this. I have a career that's difficult to maintain a relationship with, and you do it for your passion and your talent and your, craft. I hate that word, but it's a thing. So I'm not going to talk about this anymore. I just feel like we should all reserve judgment until we know all the sides of the story, and I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. I don't think he's done anything that stands out as being disingenuous. So that's that. That's today's Buzziest Moment. All right. So as you guys know, we go through in chronological order every week, starting off with Peter's hometown. This was such a feel-good hometown. Peter flying around on the date. How freaking cool was this to have him fly over the Bachelor Mansion and his own, his parents' house, and have the parents saying, "That's my boy." I mean, we see dates all the time where they're in helicopters and seaplanes and everything, but to have him be the one in the driver's seat was super cool and super unique. I was very into this. And his parents are so cute. You can feel the love in this family. It just, we already liked Peter. It was clear that he's a well-adjusted, quietly confident young man, and that was only affirmed on this hometown. Funny how the entire date's leading up to him telling Hannah that he loves her. And then instead he tells her, this is after the hometown when they're outside his house, he tells her that he's falling so hard for her and that he's happy with where they're at. And you would think that would be enough, but not on The Bachelorette, because even though they're kissing, cue this sad, regretful score as they kiss. It's like, like as though, oh, what a missed opportunity. And then of course you hear a voice of him saying he wished he'd said I love you and he hopes it's not too late. It's just so textbook. Either way, like either he tells her he loves her and it's like right on schedule, or he doesn't and it's like, uh-oh, that might have been a mistake. You should have told her you loved her. Everyone has to do that by hometown week. Okay, next we have Tyler's hometown. Solid chemistry. I mean, this chemistry is through the roof. There's no question, I feel like anyway, that she's the most attracted physically to Tyler. And then they talk about who in his family she'll be meeting, and the emphasis here is on his dad and his dad's health. First of all, I have a hard time believing that Tyler wasn't allowed any kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? You know, rights to call home maybe every couple of days. They always let mothers do this with their children. I have a hard time believing if he's like, oh, look, my father's been very unwell, that they would not have let him Skype home or at least call home at least a couple of times throughout his filming experience. So I'm just putting that out there. They're not like inhumane. And it's also a testament to Tyler and his, you know, how private he is, that I actually forgot his father was even ill. I completely forgot about that. I think told her about it on his first one-on-one. But yeah, he's been keeping that to himself, which it just sort of stood out to me. I just thought that was interesting. God, this was a really moving date. You know, seeing a 26-year-old guy kind of move to tears and super sentimental over his, you know, his family and his father. And it was like an extra, like hometowns are always like feel-good episodes, but it was like an extra, it was really sweet. And obviously the concern here with Tyler is that he has Playboy written all over him. He really does. I think that's a valid concern, and I love that Hannah is completely wise to this. Like, she is incredulous that he would be ready for marriage at this point in his life, and I like that she's leading with that, like, as she should. I just like that she's not just, like, cluelessly, oh yeah, he's so hot. Like, she's really, like, but is he ready? I just appreciate that she's, you know, very up on the concerns that we might have. Okay, Luke's hometown. It doesn't surprise me that Luke is as well liked at home as he clearly is. It's the living together in the Bachelor bubble that makes everything kind of go from just dandy to completely unbearable. You know, anyone that you don't know and you're forced to live with, it's like things about them that you normally just would go home and decompress over, you just can't, and so they become super annoying. And here's the thing, on a day-to-day basis with people who I'm sure he's not super close with, he's unbelievably lovely. I can totally picture that. In general, though, it did feel like beyond that, Luke was almost a different person on this date. He felt more comfortable, more self-aware, more able to laugh at himself. All the things that he hasn't shown all season. Oh, something that really stood out to me was when he said, he told his family that he told Hannah he was falling in love with her, and then he's like, mind you, this is on the first week. You know, it was a lot of downhill from there. That really stood out to me, that he recognized how ridiculous it was that he told her he loved her on the first date, and that he could also could be honest about the fact that there had been a lot of hardship since then. This is just a different person than we have seen in the house. And I'm not saying that Luke is redeemed by his hometown, okay? Like, Luke was very difficult to watch this season. That said, it showed a side to him that is more appealing. I don't think anyone can deny that. Okay, Jed's hometown. I talked about this in my Buzziest Moment, so I won't repeat myself. A couple things. I liked how his dad jump straddled him. You know, when he greeted him, he straddled him, which immediately was poking fun at the show and how most people greet each other on the show. And instantly his dad was a win. I was like, yes, Jed's dad, he gets it. His mom, however, the condescension, oh my goodness. I understand being protective of your child. You don't want him to get his heart broken, blah, blah, blah. But then you could just be a protective parent. parents usually are. It's another thing to be like, oh, but don't you tell all the guys this? Like, oh, but do you really feel that way about him? Like, with a smile on your face. There's something very deeply annoying about that. Like, just if you're going to take that path, just be that person. You don't need to do it with a fake smile on your face. I just found her deeply irksome, and as I'm sure most of you also did. And even the conversation with his sister felt super edited. Like, we didn't see a lot. Like, it felt really harsh, the conversation with the sister, but we didn't actually see a ton coming out of his sister's mouth. It just felt really edited. And of course, I thought it was interesting that his father, the parent who seems the most easygoing, we did not see one-on-one time between Jed's father and Hannah, the parent with whom it might have been like completely harmonious. So just food for thought. In general, this whole hometown gave me like sort of set off my spidey sense. Like, a producer went in there and was like, what are your concerns? Okay, lean into those. Like, you're concerned about Jed's career and his ability to focus on his career, or the legitimacy of this relationship, then like make sure you let those concerns be known. So it's just sort of how it felt to me. Rose ceremony. Look, it doesn't bother me that no one went home. What bothers me is that, like, I don't feel like my time was wasted or anything, but what bothers me is how this was executed. But I don't want to spoil it, because I talk about this in my Fleur recap. So go read my Fleur recap. And that's it. That's it for the hometown episode. I think we covered everything. And yeah, be sure to read my Fleur recap, my Pretty Pandas recap, which will come out later this week. And thank you for tuning in with me. I'll see you here next week on The Morning After.